This is Jacob from Wager Me This. I'm sure you all know that. Otherwise, why would you be watching? Alright, so day one of only Craps Talk on this channel. So here we go. One of the things I want to talk about is my schedule or plan for the channel moving forward. Alright. I'm going to be doing weekly live stuff for subscribers, for getting back doing that stuff. Weekly live things where I'm going to be trying to build bankrolls, trying to help people out with their game, all that stuff. Hopefully I'm gonna learn how to Skype people in or Zoom people in or whatever, and I can have people like that. I'm gonna be talking to George and Dave about that, try to get that going, so I can have that. But also I'm gonna have some other things where I break down one thing specifically, because one of the things I noticed about all the Craps channels out there, maybe besides Jeremy at Color Up, is all the other guys don't really break down one thing. Their videos are usually a full strategy, or and I think I get a lot of questions about very, very singular things, like why is a lay bet this way, So I do think I need to go further into that stuff, since I'm being asked that. Also, along those same lines, I want to break down strategies very singularly, as opposed to playing through them and maybe something happens, maybe it doesn't, because sometimes you'll get really good rolls that just go exactly right. You don't really get to see the strategy work, because strategies should fail some. They shouldn't just work. They shouldn't always just be working. They do fail, so you definitely need that in there as well, because it definitely helps. It helps to see that happen and kind of what the plan is around when those things do happen. Because when they're failing, you should have a plan. You shouldn't just, go down with the ship. You should have a plan. And, but so that's some of the stuff. I'm also going to have videos that I just make. I'm going to expand my toolbox videos more. I'm actually going to go more in depth on each one. And then I have some other ones that I never put out that I'm gonna also do, and then also I'm gonna really go into the 6, 7, 8 and the anything but 10 in a more structured fashion. Well, I feel like that's a hard answer. Okay, Dirt Angler. I'm answer the first thing first, okay? That subscriber strategy stuff, I feel like if you come on my show and you're playing your strategy, you're expecting a critique from me. So that's what I do. I give an honest opinion on it. Some of them I really like, some of them I'm not that interested in. It doesn't mean just because I don't prefer it, doesn't mean it won't work. It just means it's not what I prefer to do. But second question from Dirt Angler. In my personal opinion, the best way to play craps is on both sides of the board. You want to play both light and dark and be fluid. But if you're a good dice controller, dice influencer, a legit one that can shoot 12 times on average, and seriously on average, not 3 4s and then 140, you know. But I mean, if you're really, really good at it, you should probably play the light side with some kind of conservative progression. Not an aggressive progression, but a conservative one, because you still want to be collecting. So like power pressing, triple lux, those are all too aggressive. Because if you do get to 12, but 5 of those numbers out of that 12 were horn numbers, well, anything but 10 with dice influence should be the best strategy you can play. Or, you know, because you're playing against the 10 instead of the 4. So it should be twice as good, essentially, as the playing against the 7. The one big difference is you lose the dice when you roll a 7. So if you're playing anything but 10 at an empty table or at a table where you're the only one shooting the dice, it's just like playing at home then. And that's what I try to do when I play it. So when I go early in the morning to this casino, guys. I go really early, and as early as the craps tables open up, and a lot of times I get there and I'm the only person playing. I mean, this happens very regularly. So, and I do it on purpose. Also, I don't like going in the evening because I don't like dealing with the crowded stuff. So, you know, most casinos fill up. Yeah, I mean, the problem for the dice influencers on playing the don't first is they're going to get a lot of the inside numbers with their points. So then they have an inside number that's something that they normally hit. So that's one of the deals is, well, with dice influence, why they don't like to play through the don't. So, you know, now if they're really good at getting a 4 or a 10 or a 5 or a 9, they probably can do it. Yeah. But I think that's one of the big turnoffs for dice influencers playing through the don't. It is reduced if you play a hard 10, but only partially because you lose money on the 7 then. You lose profit on the 7 because of the hard way. Now, if you're using profits to place that hard way, then it doesn't really matter that much. But if you're using it out of your bankroll, you do lose a little bit on that, on the 7, the value of the 7. Yeah, I mean, as far as just straight craps playing goes, and you want to have the best chance to win, playing against the 10, I'm talking about percentage chance per roll to roll a winner. Playing against the 10 is going to be your best chance because the 7 doesn't hurt you. So, you know, especially if you played the horn with it. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're totally right, Alex. And that was one of the things, if anyone that watched Dave's show last night or rewatched it, that was why I asked that question. That question was kind of loaded when I asked about dice influencers play against the hardest number to beat. And when they can play against much easier numbers. So it was kind of a two-part question. Yeah, I mean, sure, if you're going to play it a little bigger, yeah, absolutely. It's fully adjustable strategy, which is nice. You don't even got to play it bigger. You could bump the box numbers all down one level and get it that way. The thing is, you're right. If you're only playing against a 1 out of 18 chance to roll, and I'm talking about from a random perspective, with no dice influence. So, yeah, if you're doing that, you should be able to manage your wins. So to where you get 3 or 4 or 5 hits, get down, get into maybe a different strategy. Oh, really? I'll have to try that. So the 3524, I'll have to remember that. Hey, if you don't mind, send me that in an email so I'll remember, because I do my emails in the morning normally. 3524, I'll have to remember that. I do get a lot of 7s out of that. Yeah, I get a ton of 7s out of the 2332 myself. Tons of 7s. I haven't been able to get them out of there, so that hopefully that might change everything. It might definitely push those 7s out of there. Yeah, really, I've figured out that 2-3-3-2. If I'm ever on the don't and I just want to win, I'm gonna throw that, because man, I get a lot of 7s with it. If I'm just having a don't sitting out there and I got those dice and I'm ready to get done, I mean, okay, cool. Yeah, because man, I get a lot of them, a lot of 7s. Make the 7 pay more. Well, I do it at that level because I'm trying to fit it into $1,000. The reason I do it at the $300 level like that is because I'm trying to fit it into what I think a lot of players can play. What was the set Mike shared? The one a long time ago was the 1315. And we used to shoot that. The 1315 is what we used to shoot all the time. Yeah, I love Drunk Guy's strategies. He's doing a little better. If anyone didn't know, he was in an accident. He got burnt pretty bad. DGE. So he's doing a little better though. We need if you guys don't mind, watch some of his videos, even his older ones, because that's helping him out. I don't know that he needs help with money or anything, but keeping him fresh, because you know he did get burnt pretty bad. So yeah, he's unique to the craps world, and he has a lot to offer. So anyone that has never seen DGE, watch DGE. He's got a lot of great information that you're not going to find a lot of other places. So a lot of other places, because he has a different outlook on craps like I do. Different from the norm is what I mean. Different from the common perception of craps, which is basically the house edge perception. He has a different idea about it, similar to the way I look at it. But he even does things that I don't do, which are great. I mean, he has some really great things. His stuff is bigger bankroll craps usually, because he's got a pretty healthy bankroll. So he plays a little bigger, but it's scalable. It's all scalable. And he's a fun guy. So that's one thing about DG. He's very fun. He's fun to talk to and watch, and he's good. Fun for me to dream. But so anyways, back to like the channel stuff. I'm gonna have some definitely weekly segments on it where I do weekly things specifically, talking about craps, talking about a lot of the things that people watch me for, specifically like the table reading stuff, and I'm gonna break down even further why I make the reads I make and why I think the things I think. Yeah, well, when I play it live, when I actually play at the casino, the style I uses the horns. I incorporate the horn bets. So I play the horns, and a lot of times I end up incorporating come bets in the field as I'm going too. So once it gets rocking along, I either do one or two of them. I either go 3 hits and then go to 96 across, and I just play half press, and I try to have a good long roll and win light side. All right, that's what I do. That's the style I play if I'm already winning. If I'm already up a couple hundred, I go 3 hits, 96 across. I'm just looking for a big payday then. The other style, the other way I play is, instead of on the 4, I only place 20 on the 4. I buy it at 4 for 20 instead of 25, and also the 5 and 9 the same. So I have $15 extra to use. Yeah, and then I take and I play the C and E as I'm going until it builds itself into pure horn bets, and I attack it that way. And eventually, if as I'm going, field, horn, and the come as well, which sounds crazy because that basically means I'm playing everything. But the reason I do it is because as I'm going, I eventually like to get my box numbers situated into the $100 chip range. I want to see them in that range where they're paying a $100 chip, and so that's how I press using that field and stuff, and by having the come there, it protects it from the 7. Okay, so on the C and E, if I play a 3C 2E, so if you get 1 hit, so 3C 2E, if you get 1 hit on it, you're going to make over $20, no matter which one you hit. So thank you. I don't know that I've been compared to Bone Thrower. Thank you, though. I used to watch Bone Thrower religiously, but he kind of quit putting videos on YouTube for a long time, and then I kind of quit watching him, and then I watched some of his live videos, and I wasn't all impressed, so I kind of quit. But anyway, thank you. Bone Thrower is a good dice shooter. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that he can really throw the dice. So, but back to what I was talking about with that C and E. So after one, when you do, I go straight to the $20 on the horn. If it hits again, normally I don't bump it up again. I just leave it at $20 on the horn. Because if you get back-to-back hits, you're going to have a couple runs at $20 on the horn. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, the anything but 10 is a good strategy, man. I know there are many people that don't like it, based upon the fact that the 10 beats them up. So that's some stuff. Yeah, I love Mel. I love Mel's approach. If you guys have watched Mel, you can see a lot of the stuff that I do, I've kind of robbed from Mel a little bit. There's definitely things that I do that I've taken away from him, that I've got from him, and I've incorporated into what I do. That's Craps Hawaii. Yeah, step down works too. See, and that's what I try to tell people is there's a lot of ways. Sorry, I'm in that bad spot right here. So if you guys just, it's going to take me about 3 or 4 minutes to get through here. There's lots of people that don't play the strategies I play. There's lots of people that don't, and they still win. So there's lots of ways to win at craps, and I don't think any of them are necessarily the wrong way. I think some of them aren't as successful consistently, and that's what I look at. I want to be as consistent as I can be. That's a consistent paycheck every day, better than I make at my job, which on the best days of my job, the best days of work at my job, I make over $500. That's if I get holiday pay and everything, I make over $500 a day. So my best day at my job is around there. Sorry, it's just this spot. Yeah, those kind of strategies, they're actually if you're even a house edge person, they're actually very good house edge strategies from that end of things. I'm just not. I don't ever look at the house edge, but I get people tell me, all right, so I lost from 16 to 5. It's just the dead zone problem. But anyways, so one of the things that was just brought up kind of wins a lot. When you say wins a lot, okay, so one of the things I look at when I look at strategies, you can hear me, I hope it's not choppy. One of the things I look at when I look at strategies on win rate, so most of the time, guys, now there's been a few that I tried first time on the channel, but most of the time when I put them on the channel, I've done them 1,000 times already. I've already ran through a bankroll on them 1,000 times on when I put out new stuff or different moves or different things. I've already tried it at least that many times, right? And what I'm doing is I want to get a bearing on what percentage of the time this will actually work. What percent of the time will a strategy, a move, a certain style of play, what percentage of the time is this going to be in the profit? All right, so I only consider them good strategies if they hit in that 75 to 80%. You know, usually you're not going to get one higher than that, but right in there, if done correctly, and that could mean with dice control, that could mean a lot of factors in done correctly. But if anything less than that, anything less than 75%, you're starting to get into the strategy being too volatile. It's got too much variance in it. Because, and I've come up with this by just practicing a lot, figuring out, okay, so if you have $1,000 bankroll and 20% of the time you lose it, all right, or even 25% of the time you lose it, that means that other 75% of the time that you have a winning session, you have to make up for that 25%. And so that's where I look at that step. Because I have them graph paper books. You know those graph paper books? It's a notebook full of graph paper. 1,000? Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It might take me a month before I put it out. I go through it. On my days off, guys, I play lots of craps. I play a lot on my own craps table. Absolutely. Study football, play craps. I do it at the same time. have my computer up. But I don't have favorite dice sets for stuff like that. My dice sets are all based upon missing numbers. But it seems like the 3-2-2 or the 2-3-3-2 will hit sevens. I can get it to hit sevens, so that's good. Having a way to roll a 7 is actually a great thing for a don't player. If you're a don't player and you have a way to roll a 7 consistently, that's what you want. You're trying to roll 7s as a don't player. So if you have that in your arsenal, man, that's a great weapon. It's a really good weapon. And so, just to put some clarification on that, Paradise Craps, I can run through 20 sets in no time if I'm very particular. So like the idea behind it might be, how many times can I succeed winning 20%? Hello, TD. So sometimes that might be the thing. Sometimes I might be trying to succeed in that fashion. How many times can I win 20%? Well, if the strategy, sometimes it's going to have really great rolls, it's going to win 20% in the first 2 shooters. And then I start it over. Okay, so how many times is it going to win, over and over? I need 20% out of it. And that's, so that's how I can get 1,000 sessions in. I'm headed to work. I'm getting ready to pass a state trooper that's not driving very fast. So, not really sure what he's doing. It is kind of, it's like 32 degrees out, and it's kind of rainy and kind of misty. So he might be worried about ice. He's probably waiting for one of us to wipe out. But yeah, so that's the idea behind, I can easily test something 1,000 times, because most of the time I'm looking for a very specific outcome. I want 20% profit, or I want to turn 600 into 750. I don't play the anything but 10 on random throwers, if that's what you were asking. I kind of missed that. I play it when I shoot, because the one thing about the anything but 10 on a random thrower, sure, I watch King Dice. When's the next time I'm going to the casino? It won't be any of these 3 nights, because I got to work 3 nights in a row. So I don't really know. I'll know I'll probably know on the weekend. I'm not sure if it'll be the weekend or not. Usually I have every month I have 7 days off. Usually on my 7 days off, I end up going to the casino multiple times usually. So, but yeah, to King Dice's channel, yeah, I watch him. I mean, sure. He's doing something different than everyone else. Really, he's got his own thing going on. I hope him all the success in the world. I know a lot of other craps YouTube people don't really care for him. I know that's a thing, but that's not really my thing. I always have done my own thing. So, I mean, I hope he gets everything done he's trying to get done. So, I mean, it's great if he does make a school, if he does, get a tournament, a real tournament. I mean, all these things are awesome if he can get it done. So, they're only going to help the craps community. So, I hope so, yeah. I hope he does all that, and I hope he gets it, and I hope it works for him, because, I mean, that's awesome. I like stick left, preferable. stick left 1, because I am right-handed. But if I am on stick right 1, I can shoot that side 2, roughly the same effectiveness. And the reason being is because I'm not a great dice controller. So I can average about 8 or 9 rolls sometimes. I'm not good at it. Yeah, actually, I would love to have a team. I actually talked about that a couple months ago. Where I was trying to build a team. The problem with building a good team is logistics. Man, it's so hard to build a good team because unless it's a bunch of retired people that can go when everyone can go and just can keep going all the time, building the team thing is very difficult. Because I actually kind of attempted it, but I'm the problem on the team. I'm the problem because I have 2 kids and stuff and a job, and so I can't be as consistent as everyone else. But yeah, the team is definitely a good idea, in my opinion, in my estimation, because if you could get on a craps table full of people that not necessarily are great shooters, but are all going to be shooting with the same plan. And what I mean by that is you could put your 2 best shooters at stick 1 and stick 1. After that, you could tell the rest of the guys, hey, we're going to throw all 7 sets and play on the don't the rest of the way around the board. You know, we're going to try to roll 7s until we can get it back to the 2 guys, you know. Or you could just pass the dice back to them. And if you just take over the table in that fashion, you know, I really think you can. I think you can affect your profitability. I do, with a good team. You have 5 kids. Nice. Don't stop now. You're halfway there. I feel like if you get to 5 kids and stop, you're just a quitter. Who's that basketball team going to play against? You got to have another basketball team. When am I going to be playing live next? Probably Friday. It'll be for sure Friday. Because I got to work tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night. But Friday night, I will be on live. I will probably do 2 separate live shows. Oh, Real Casino. I'm working on that. Legislation in Arkansas, I do believe, is changing. It's not on the books yet, but I do think it's changed. And I do think Oaklawn, from everything they've told me, they're going to let me film. So once this legislation changes, and so I should be locked in there as far as, unless something changes overnight. But I've been in a lot of contact with them. We've had some sit-down talks, so we'll see. Yeah, practice is key. In Arkansas, it's everywhere is pretty much 15. The Oaklawn's problem is the table max. Oaklawn's problem, because they only want you to go to 250 table max. So one of the things we were talking about was when I play, could my table max be higher when I'm filming? And they said yes. When I was filming, they said if all that materializes. Yeah, I just haven't been to Pine Bluff yet. I do need to cruise over there and check it out. My most of the reason why I haven't went is because Pine Bluff's craps tables don't open till the afternoon, and I don't like going to play in the afternoon. I like going in the morning. So I don't. You know, you go at 4 o'clock. I think that's when they open, 3 or 4. You're never going to have an empty table. You're never going to have a table to yourself. Yeah. 250. It is. It's hard to play. at 250 max. See, you just really can never. It's so limiting. I mean, it really is. Now, and at 50, so if it was 250 max and it was a $5 table, I could understand that. I could buy into that. But being that it's a $15 table, or on Prime, on the primetime hour stuff, it's $25 table. So it just doesn't make sense, for a craps player. It makes total sense for the casino, but it doesn't, just for a craps player, it doesn't really make sense. So, and they also have no bonus bets. There is no bonus bets of any kind. So, yeah, I like Durant. I've been there a few times. I like it. But there's no bonus bets at Oaklawn, so there's no hops. There's no. All it is the basic crap layout with the normal middle. I mean, it is plain as can be. But they put these new surfaces on there. They put these new these new felts on there, and I love them. I shoot better there. Before, in the old ones, they were terrible. I hated them. But since they put these new ones on, I love them. Yeah. Yeah, on the money lines, they definitely don't give you even shot. But I definitely, so that's one thing. I was really moving away from Oaklawn. I really just hated it there. And then they changed them tables up, and now I like it. I built my own table. My table is just a bookcase that I put basically a felt and the rub. I have a 12-foot table I'm building, but it's not even close to finished. And you want to know what's another crazy thing is, I know a lot of people really don't like 14-foot craps tables, but I actually love 14-foot craps tables. There's more room at them. I like them. I'm more comfortable at them. And since I'm not a great dice controller, it doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, we will definitely, TD. Having a 14-foot doesn't really matter to me because I don't think I'm good at controlling the dice. So I like the extra room. They're more comfortable to me. I've had lots more success at the 14-foot tables than the 12s, that's for sure. I've never played at a smaller than 12, though. Like, I've heard people talk about them, 10-foot tables and 8-foot tables. I've never played at any. I've never seen one at a casino, so, or at least I don't remember it. If I did, I didn't notice. Because I may have before, but I don't think so. Also, though, I've never played in Nevada, so I've never played in Nevada or Atlantic City, so I've never played at a lot of really old casinos. Oaklawn is pretty old, but the casino part isn't. The casino, they just got casino stuff, table games recently. So, I've never played at the big gambling meccas. I will, though. I have plans to go to Las Vegas this year. It kind of depends on what happens. See, guys, another thing is I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm sure a lot of you do. My wife has been going through some medical stuff, so that's also another thing that's been going on. Why I've been really limited on travel and different things is her medical stuff takes up some of our time and stuff. So I don't put much stock into when other players are setting the dice. It doesn't really matter to me what they're doing. Normally, when other players are playing, if I'm going to play their shot, I play a lessened version of the 678. I cut it way down. From 75, I might drop it to 40. Oh, she's all right. She's dealing with it. We're getting through it. And we just are waiting for a diagnosis is the problem. But so, like, a lot of times I play the 678, but I drop it down to 40. And if I can get that down established, then I'll play the 4 and 10 or something. But just because I see you setting the dice, even if I think I know, even if I think it looks like you know what you're doing, and it looks like you're doing everything correct, you got a correct grip, you know, you're standing if it looks right to me, I'll be intrigued. But until I see you throw the dice a few times, I'm really not going to put any stock in what you're doing. So now, if I know you and I've played with you many times and I'm, you know, pretty sure how you roll, then yeah, I'll bet heavier on guys I know. Or for that, in that case, if I know they're terrible, I'll bet on against them, you know, against their shot. So I don't personally put a lot of stock into what the other players are doing with the dice. Now, if the gets up there, he sets the dice, and his first 3 rolls are on the inside numbers, it's going to open my eyes. Because if I see him and he sets a 3V out there, then he goes 6, 8, 9, I'm going to be interested. You know, now we're talking about where these dice are supposed to be landing, and they're landing there. You know, so at that point, I'll probably, you know, start looking into betting some more of the inside numbers. But for the most part, the huge majority of the time, guys, I don't play with very many other people. The huge majority of the time, I'm there early. I'm there right when the table's open. Well, I don't know. Earlier, before COVID, I was talking about that, and I didn't really, without being really close to, without the group of the whole team being very close to a casino or all within very close. It's definitely, you just a home casino or a home group of casinos like Tunica would be. I mean, that's how it would have to be, because the guys that were interested in forming a team with me, they all live everywhere. One of them lived in California, one of them lives in Louisiana, one lives in Alabama, and one guy lived in Memphis. Right, I remember you saying you were in Little Rock. But so, that I think is one of the biggest keys. Is that's why a lot of those, there are craps teams in Vegas. This is a real thing. In fact, a lot of them have formed craps schools. So there are teams, and they go and they load up on a table. The Dominator is a very famous one. He has a team. They all lived in Vegas, you know, or right around Vegas. So it was really easy for them to just run up in there as a group. And so that's really, in my opinion, the biggest key is the logistics. Yeah, you know, I got into craps. I learned about craps when I was really young from my grandfather. I didn't really get heavily into it till like a couple of years ago, to where I was every day in it. You know, I was more into poker. I really thought I was going to be able to be a poker player, and I just don't have the time. Poker takes so much time. If I have the skill for poker, I just don't have the time, and so I just would never be able to play enough. And I actually prefer poker to craps as gameplay goes. I actually really love poker because I like the one-on-one aspect of poker. But the problem is poker takes forever. to win money at. But I definitely do like it. But for that matter, craps is a much faster game. There is an ambulance and a police car, so something happened. If you want my number, you can go to my website. It's at the bottom of my website. I don't really like to speed it out over YouTube, but you'll just go to wagermethis.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll find my number down there. That the don't is the most powerful bet on the board. The one thing I wish I'd have known when I started playing is that the don't is the most powerful bet on the board. Yeah, send me a text. Don't call because I probably won't answer. But text me first. After that, I'll answer because then I'll know. If I at first, because when I first started playing craps, I played my grandfather's strategy, which is lay 4-10, hard 4-10, and you just ride it out. And there is some other. Well, then I really got into light side, and I was like, oh, it's all you just need to power press. 3 hits, 5 hits, and then regress. Well, then I realized that doesn't really work either. So it took me a while to really get myself into the don'ts. And what really got me into the don'ts is I was at the casino one day, and I watched a guy take a $100 bill, and $10 at a time, he built it up through the don'ts until he had $500 bills. And I was like, okay, this makes a lot more sense. And so before he could get away, I hemmed him up over by some slot machines when he was cashing out, and I said, tell me about what you did. And he said, oh, it's just the don't. And he explained to me, why it works, why it this, why, and I was like, okay, cool. So then I took that and I put what I like on it, but yeah, I wish from the beginning that I would have been associated with don't players, because if you're not a dice controller, you should be a don't player. The odds are better. But I just wish I would have been more. In fact, in my opinion, before you, there's the one most people use is the Wizard of Oz manipulator, but you can manipulate the crap out of it. You can to give you losers. I mean, I've sat there and messed with it so much that it's not fully random. It's not a full random number generator. I don't know. There's some weighted to it or something, because or you can get the Pro, and it's not expensive, but it's actually a really good generator if you want to practice on a computer. Yeah, and okay. All right, back to Wizard. If you'll go to Wizard of Odds and go to his craps generator, and you'll combats, pass lines plus odds. Right, it's not a computer, but if you don't have a table and you've never played, it's a good way to get acclimated to the bets and stuff. But if you'll go to Wizard of